I've always felt different. I've always seen things, but when I tried to express them as a child, I was always told to ignore it.
There were people that I didn't know that came to me and said, I have this message that I keep getting that I have to deliver to you.
All of a sudden, out of the shadows, a homeless man just jumped right in front of me. And he said, I'm a soul just like you.
I love it.
I wanted to understand the universe and who and what we are and what are we doing here.
Well, we're all part of this amazing soul wave tapping into each other.
This was a major life changer.
You are a light. You have helped me a ton. Thank you.
You've given me the courage to live more from my soul.
Millions of people are awakening. So wake up with Michele Meiche. Be pleased to hear the best-selling authors and experts in the fields of cutting-edge self-help, personal growth, metaphysics, and spirituality. The soul path of awakening. Understand what living awake is.
Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome. If you happen to be new to Awakenings with Michele Meiche podcast, I really want to welcome you all. Got a lot of new listeners. Got our tried and trues, too, that help hold down the fort, that are co-creating this amazing place to connect, this amazing reality in space and time and beyond space and time. Hi, everyone in the chat. Good to see you. Let me know how the sound is, please. All right, if you are here for the first time, here is the drill. You can listen by phone, 347-539-5122. Press 1 on your keypad. Or you can listen by chat. You can also listen by computer. There's a way to listen by computer. You don't have to be in the chat if you don't want to. You guys are going to hear me getting my... Today I'm having decaf with a little bit of steamed, with my electric frother, a little bit of steamed milk here if you hear me in the background. I've been doing some recording for a project which I love doing. I'm excited to see how it all unfolds. So anyway, gang, 347-539-5122 is the number, and you can press 1 on your keypad if you have a question or a comment or you want a reading. I am going to get to readings. I do want to 347-539-5122. Press 1 on your keypad. So we have quite a few people in the chat. And you can ask questions in the chat as well. So if that's something you want to do. I had those of you that are on Patreon, and by the way, other ways to connect with me is on Instagram. Come follow me there. I do a tune in, usually weekly, sometimes more than weekly, but I really tune in with the guides to see what people really need to know, what's going on. It's a message that's meant to find you. And I weave other stuff in the stories as I tune in, inspired action, but happenings, what's going on, looking at the changes in the cosmos. The other way is Soul Insights and Tarot on YouTube, and also Awakenings with Michele Meiche on YouTube. If you would subscribe there, that would be great. I want to welcome the new subscribers to Soul Insights and Tarot, and also Awakenings with Michele Meiche podcast. We're extending over on YouTube, getting closer to getting there with lives. Right now there's replays that are there. It all just takes a minute or two, but it's all happening. It's all happening. So there's my alarm because I was in recording and meditating. So I want to share with you guys, there's going to be a lot more synchronistic connections where you're really getting the messages and the guidance on your path. Now, some of you may have had these kinds of stories. I hope so, because they're very inspiring. I know they always inspire me. But we're moving in the time of the gathering, and I'm going to be doing a video on this on Patreon. I can't do all of it. I could do it here, but since we're now uploading to and publishing on YouTube, I've gotten censored a couple of times. I've gotten warnings of the content, even though it was channeled information, it was psychic information that ended up playing out and being accurate. But anyway, so it's a little funny there. But Patreon, I'm able to not censor, as much. Let's just put it that way, or be cautious. But we are moving into this time of this gathering, this great gathering. Have any of you been feeling like you really want to connect, like you're feeling like drawn to certain people, maybe to certain groups? You're drawn to a certain person. You're wondering, where is this leading? Where is this going? Is this a create mate? Am I going to do something with this person? Or are we partnering up? And that is because there is this aspect, and some of you that follow me on Instagram, or you're in the Patreon Soul Path Awakening community, or you've heard me talk about it here, or workshops that I do, that there is this aspect of self that is coming through from the soul that is needed really for the next, we're 30, 35, 40 years and beyond. We are getting into this critical time that is going to be like a major leapfrog, major exponential leap, major timeline leap. And we've had lots of little changes, lots of shifting. People's perspectives are shifting. But you're going to see within the root awakening, there's a lot of aspects to this awakening depending where you're at, depending your soul's evolution, your soul's mission, your soul memory, your soul purpose. Not everybody is having the same experience, and you can see that, but all the experiences dovetail into the one or oneness. So you have to really understand what's your lane, where are you really meant to be, because that's where you're really going to thrive. So I had I think it was last year or the year before, I was at this Bluestone Cafe, and this woman came up to me. Well, I saw her walking. Young woman in her Lululemons and Uggs, just looked very regular, 20-something person, maybe early 30s. And I was sitting there having, I think, tea or coffee with a friend of mine, and I think we were having our decaf cappuccinos. And it was early morning, and I had been asking my friend, actually Grace, so she can confirm the story. Some of you have done workshops with us in healing about some projects that I'm working on and some channeled info that I got. And she said, no, you need to really, move forward on that. I feel really good about that. And this woman, I can see her staring at me as she's walking. She's approaching, our tables. Our table is on the side with a group of other tables. And she's just looking at me intently. I kind of look up and smile, I just smile, and then she comes over and she goes, your guides are so proud of you. They're so proud, so happy. You're doing such a great job. Keep up the good work. You're really, really making a difference. And her friend is like shocked, like and pulling her kind of away. And my friend is looking up at me, and I said, oh, my God, I've been asking for a sign. And I go, and it's right when we're talking about this. She goes, no, I'm not weird. She goes, I'm a chant. And I go, no, I don't think you're weird. I said, I totally understand. Thank you very much for the message. And she said, there's just all this light coming from you. Well, let me be honest. Some of it was the light coming through the trees at the time of day. You know how that happens. It was quite a Spielberg moment, I suppose. If I do say so myself. Anyway, so that happens to me, on and off quite a bit. Now, recently, a couple of days ago, I went to my chiropractor, shout out to Dr. Griffin, got my alignment and an occipital adjustment. Really just, oh my God, opens up the body, opens up the vertebrae, opens just up, and opens up the upper chakras. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go home, nestle, went and got some Thai food, Penang curry with tofu and vegetables and rice. And I'm driving by Anamamundi, and I'm like, I feel my car pulling over, and I'm like, no, I'm going to go home. And then I'm like, well, I should go and get some herbs. I want to get some bulk herbs to make some teas and poultices. And I just thought, I got to go in now. And I just pull over, turn the corner, park, walk a bit there, come in. It's just lovely. Shout out to Violet there at Anamamundi. And there was an amazing woman in there just butterflying around and doing her thing, and I'm doing my thing. And she turns around and goes, you have the most amazing energy, so much light. And I turn around to her and I go, takes one to know one. You see the light because you are the light. I'm just in this playful mood, just opening up the containers, glass containers of these amazing herbs, this Earth Mother Goddess energy coming out everywhere. And we chit-chat a little bit, and then she goes, there's something special about you. And I'm just like, well, I'm an oracle. She said, I'm an oracle. And I said, oh, I'm a channeler too. I'm an oracle. I'm a, psychic channel. And we just hugged. Embraced each other. Major, beautiful elder woman. Beautiful, beautiful, long, silvery black hair. When the hair can do the great silver, gray, black, whatever. So she goes about her business. I go, we chit-chat, then she's leaving. I don't know if she bought anything. I don't even remember. She leaves, and then she comes back. She goes, I normally don't do this. So she gave us a reading, and she opened this bag, this beautiful, tapestry kind of bag, and pulls out the different cards. And I was immediately drawn to these cards that not yet on the market, but they're based on sacred geometry. So hopefully her friend is just now publishing them, so I'm going to keep my eye out for them. And very interesting. Some of the stuff that she said to me was very different reading for Violet and for me. And she was talking about the channeling I do, some stuff that people wouldn't know, some stuff that I know from my guides, some stuff that I know that's going to be going on with me in the next 3 to 6 months, and about this new information coming in. She said, you don't even know this yet. It's another part of you. It's another message. And she said, you work with multiple guides. And I do. It's a group that comes through. And she gave me some information that confirmed some of the stuff that I was sharing and relaying from the guides in one of the workshops and sound healing sessions I did a few months back with Grace about this new aspect of self or soul and the key codes and what's coming up in the planetary changes, earth changes. So, amazing, magical, it was such a beautiful experience. And that was Monday. Early this morning, 5:30, I am in this vision. Sometimes my visions come, I'm in a waking state, and it's like a movie, and I'm in it, and sometimes I'm in a deep state, and I'm getting all this information about the gathering and what's coming up next. And I woke up, and the guide said, don't worry, we'll wake you up. And it was a startle. I woke up getting all this information like I was in this dream, but it was really a vision. I was living out what's coming. And that's what happened to me when I channeled all the information about the pandemic in 2017. I was in it and seeing stuff. So I'm in it, but I'm watching it. I'm observing. And then later, it was so interesting and kind of fun for me when we had the guards here, the National Guard and all that stuff. I had seen that in my dreams, and I was on my phone watching. And my friend Lori's like, go home, Michele, go home. They're marching in the street. It's dangerous. And I'm like, no, this is such a trip for me because I channeled all this. I had 4 days of visions of all this, and now I'm living it. Now I'm in the street, and I'm walking down the street, seeing the guys and girls in those fatigues, brown and green fatigues. I didn't see, in my visions, I saw tanks. We didn't have tanks where I live, but some of my clients told me there were tanks back east. So it was just a trip for me to experience what I'm channeling. The same thing happened early this morning, and the guide said, you've got to talk to people about the gathering and for people to really pay attention to the people that are coming in their life or the messages or what keeps occurring, because the guides are really, really trying to reach out to people. And what I am seeing also starting next year, I mean, we're in it's really a lot's going to happen, I would say, 2025, 2026. I mean, we're still kind of bridging into it next year. There may be a lot of constriction or restriction on some levels, But there's also, and especially governmentally or with groups, but there is also, or corporations, there's going to be a lot of freedom individually, meaning your creativity, you're prompting to want to work in a different way and want to change your way you live, change your lifestyle, change how you relate, really get down deep, kind of scorpionic energy, right? Very Plutonian, get to the bottom of things, really like connect on deep levels. And it's possible. That's part of why I'm sharing this, because a lot of times I have these experiences with people. Obviously, I know them other dimensionally or from other lives, and we just embrace, we hug, we have this great connection. We know that it's a meaningful connection. Now, I know a lot of people are busy. I know, but you've got to create the space for that, and it starts in your mind that it's a possibility. Even if you're working 3 jobs, have 4 kids, and a family, you can still create the space, and it starts in your mind. It's the space to know that this is possible. Because once you start aligning through that synergy, we've been talking about this, in Patreon, that synergy connects you into synchronicity and symbiotic relationships. We are meant to connect. Our strength is in the connection, is in the unity. And we are in the main part of the awakening. There's root awakening, there's things tearing down, there's soul alignment, there's so much happening. But underneath it all is the unification, which is love. Love is the binding force. Now, that doesn't mean kind of emotional, romantic love, though that can be a part of it, but it's more of the love of us, of our existence, of connection, of what we're doing here, what we're creating, that to some degree we're born out of love. And that love is because we're a vibrational frequency. We're a geometrical configuration, a divine matrix, a soul matrix that has this particular design and blueprint within that design of potential and possibility of our own unfolding. And so we're begotten, no matter how tragic our life is or has been, we are begotten out of the universal love, or the love of the universe, or the love of God, or the all that is, to know itself. So I just want to share some. So the gatherings, we will be helped, we will be helped. That was the other message. That this was interesting. There will be those that make the noise. Okay, so you see a lot of noise right now, especially on social media. Oh, if you don't believe this way, then you're not cool, you're not helping, I'm pro this, I'm against that. There's all this noise. And if you don't believe it, or you don't believe in this way, or you don't help, and you don't march, and you don't do this, and you don't do that, then you're not conscious, you're not awake, you're not this, you're not that. There's a lot of noise. And so I was told the ones that make the noise, there's going to be the ones that make the noise. There's going to be the ones that work in silence. There's the ones that work in the background or background position. And they're the ones that break ground. So there are a group of us, we could say, that may be more silent and working in the background, but we're breaking ground. So those that are causing awareness, which is an important part of change and shifting and transmuting the energy, it stirs things up. But they're only creating awareness. The change is going to come by those that break ground, that actually break the pattern. Because we've been doing the noise since the beginning of time. But that's part of the earth drama here. That's part of how the passion play plays out. So know that you are making a difference when you're breaking your own ground, your own cycle, your own limitation. You're healing your own wounding. You're loving yourself more, no matter how you look, how you feel. You're loving your expression, your soul expression. You're loving your body more. They said also, we are the ones before. There are those that came before. We lay the foundation within the soil where the new seeds of light are planted. So this is a lot with starseeds, but we're planting seeds. So as you shift and change in your consciousness, as you heal more, and part of healing is just recognizing that there's always going to be a fractured part or parts. That's part of separating out. But the key is not to think that the separating out is separation. So this coming together is so important. See where and how you can do more of this, because your gifts are needed. Your time is here. The time is now, beautiful loves. Let's get to callers. 347-539-5122. Hi, you're on air. Welcome. Hello.
Hi, my name's Michael.
Hey, Michael. Welcome. Hello.
Thanks so much. First time checking it out.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Did you have a
Yes,
question?
I definitely agree in regards to kind of what you were talking about there at the end, and the noisemakers, and then the silence, and then those who are just kind of sitting back going, all right, ready for this to all unfold.
Right? Yeah, and we all do it in our different way. You know, I kind of wanted to respond. Actually, I wrote up a long thing. I was going to do an Instagram live on it, and then I thought, don't waste your energy. Because,
yeah.
You know, this whole division, and, you know,
it'll get tagged.
We'll get tagged, but then people, and then I'm going to I just feel like these, whatever's going on in the world, it just can't be handled in a meme.
No.
You know? Right? Or a soundbite. But people want to do that, and if you're not reposting those memes or creating your own meme of I'm with this one and against that one and I'm pro this and that, then it's like, right? You're kind of called out, like, oh, you're not doing enough, you're not spiritual, you're not conscious, and it's like, all right, let's see how many memes change the world. Right, Michael? Let's see if the meme changes the world.
One hashtag at a time.
That's exactly, right? Oh, gosh. Okay, so what do we want to look at with you? What's going on?
So I'm out in the middle of the Arizona desert. I am doing the RV life.
Very cool.
And a couple months ago, I left. I'd say it's close to a couple months ago. I left my sales job. I'd purchased I found a great deal on a food cart that I figured either I'll use it or I could possibly flip it. But that would mean stop doing this, you know, being out in nature and that type of thing. And I really I've been doing this since July, and I love it. So, plus there were some things with the job that kind of were falling in place, and I probably overreacted, which, you know, probably wasn't the first time. Making a decision like that. Yeah. So I'm kind of getting back. I'm looking to get back into remote sales, and I even hit up my old.
Here's what I get. Oh, perfect. Because I get back and forth with you. I think you're going to mix it up. I think you are going to. You're so, you know, awakening, and aware. I feel like you're meant to intermingle with people. You might do it for a while and pull back out. I think the remote is great for you, or even if you're driving to location. But I definitely am seeing people around you. I am seeing a work kind of, definitely situation. I agree.
Like going back to an office?
No, it doesn't have to be that, but you might be driving to people or driving to offices or locations. There could be something where you're obviously remote or on phone, but I'm also seeing other locations. I don't know what that is. If you're going in and showing something or having meetings, I definitely am feeling mobility, and I was going to say, I feel like anything brick and mortar or even like a cart is too much. You want to stay open right now, but it is showing it is really good for your soul to have the people connection.
Yeah. No, I am pretty social, even though I am enjoying this immensely.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah. Well, that's what it shows, the social. So I almost feel somehow you'll wind in and out or weave in and out. Now, I do see though. There is a picture coming in of. It's not right away. It could be 3 to 5 years. there is going to be something that you, I don't know if it's a center, there is something that you are going to fund or found. It's so funny because, as I said, not brick and mortar. I guess because it's not now. There could be something in the desert or mountains or out in the distance, I feel, where you now I don't know, it could be like your own Airbnb or whatever is that. I don't think it's going to be called Airbnb, or it could be a bed and breakfast or some retreat or spiritual. There is going to be some other avenue of income for you. It could be where people come and gather. I was talking about the gathering. It could be something like that. But I feel like you'll run it in the beginning, and then eventually you'll have someone else running it, and you'll be in and out. Because I do see a lot of travel around you also. I feel like you're going to be doing a lot of traveling. Not now, but
that's been something I want to do.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, I think this investment is going to allow you, it's going to give you the passive income plus the inspiration, fulfillment. You'll have a place to come back to, a base, but it's working. It's working itself. Now, I don't know. It could. I've had the idea, like, because northern Arizona, you can get some pretty affordable land and so forth. Okay. And if you're you can, there's people who are building the A-frames, tiny houses, those type of things, and doing Airbnbs in northern Arizona a lot, where you can kind of be out in the middle of kind of like nowhere, and there's some success to those. Because in Phoenix it can be 118, but you drive 2.5 hours north into Flagstaff. It's 80 degrees. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, also, a lot of people are going to be moving out of major cities and wanting to have, I don't know, I wouldn't call it like, let's say it's like cottages or something where people can connect. Mm-hmm. Like, you're close to like-minded individuals. It may be on the same property, but you're not right under people. It's not like living in the same house or townhouse. So that is definitely in your future. So I think your soul is nudging you to go back to work, partly because of that. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, because that's why definitely in your future. Yeah, because I'm looking at, because again, I don't necessarily know if I want to be in Phoenix, at least, in and around major metropolitan area. So before I did the RV thing, because it was kind of hit and miss. It was touch and go. Not sure if I was going to be able to pull the trigger. And then I was going to move to Corpus Christi, Texas. At least because it's by the beach. It's significantly more affordable than California and Florida, type of thing. Yeah, so I know Corpus. I have relatives there in San Antonio. So just know you're on your path. The next thing in front of you is really that branching out with that job, that career move. But that definitely the property, I wouldn't worry about it now because it's the destiny. If I see it that quickly in a short, this is like a little mini. This isn't even like a full reading. So if it comes through that quickly, to me, that's a destiny issue. So I wouldn't even worry about that manifesting, that it's going to happen. You don't have to worry about the how. You'll be there. You'll have the funds, and you'll be able to travel. It's going to afford you the cushion to be able to travel more. Also. Perfect. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll be coming in. Look out for someone named Larry. Do you know a Larry? No. Okay. So I don't know what that's about, but could be something important. Okay. I don't see anything mean or bad, but it could be a business contact or something. All right, Michael, take good care. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. You're welcome. Bye. Hi, you're on air.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Michelle.
What's your first name?
It's Amla. How are you?
Hey, Amla. Hello, Amla.
Hi.
One of the
You sound wonderful. You sound wonderful. So Thank you for your show. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
It's beautiful that you met that kindred spirit that you did. I'm glad for you. I'm so happy for you.
Elder woman.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And it always happens unexpectedly. Absolutely.
Yes.
100%. Yes. Yes.
She was pulling me in. I pulled in that apothecary because I had been wanting to have one. By the way, it's in your neck of the woods. There's one in Soho and one in Brooklyn. But you can buy stuff online, too. Yeah, called Anima Mundi. Yeah, Anima Mundi.
Okay.
And
sounds good.
Yeah, they have. Yeah. So let's talk. You. How are you?
I'm doing. My birthday's coming. It's actually in 10 days, so I'm excited. I'm in a new decade. I'm going to be 50, so I'm excited. I really am. Like this is just. I'm ready. I'm ready because I value myself. I'm brighter. I'm lighter.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm going out. I've talked to you about this before, but like I think there's nothing else to pretty much scrape out of the barrel. Like I did a lot this year, just scraping. So what do you feel like you needing somebody?
Yeah, give me the month and day of your birth date. Let's look. What's the month and day of your birth date? Okay,
so it's December 16th, 10 days.
Oh, 16. Okay. Well, I'm not looking at the calendar, Amla. That's why let's see. 9-3. Let's see what's going on. Ooh. New pathways. Wow. You might even move. Have you moved yet?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Okay, things are lightening up. Things are going to be getting better. A lot more people around you. I do see a group, a spiritual center. Now, this is online, but also in person. There is a place that you're going to hang out at. Now, what's weird is I hear the sanctuary or the cathedral. I don't know if this is a hangout place on a consistent basis or you're going to go to something. Okay, it's weird because I got the Larry for Michael before you. So here's the deal. Those people that are calling in, most people, there's going to be a key event or person that all of us meet. Like I met that woman Monday, and the download she was talking about, and I knew this other part of me was coming through and information, but she said it's in you, but you haven't received it yet, and it's true. And what happened to me early this morning was way different. It was like the pandemic channeling that I got, and like when the Berlin Wall went down and other. Yeah, I don't get those all the time, so this is going to be more of a regular occurrence. So here's what I'm hearing.
Okay.
There's going to be certain people that we meet in certain situations that we're a part of that are giving us a heads up, and it's also like the trigger that transmutes our energy into the new direction and locks us into this part of us. You're going to go to some event. I don't know what it is. I see steps. It could be, and I see people with cups, like they're getting drinks, hot drinks. So it could be, it's going on all day. So it could be like a art, music happening. It could be like a spiritual happening. It could be, but it feels like it's in a community.
Okay.
It's not like a conference center. And you happen to go. And I feel cooler weather because I'd see you in a coat, a light coat, not like heavy. It's not snow or anything. So it could be, late winter, early spring.
Okay.
I suppose it could even be fall, but I kind of feel it sooner. And you're going to meet all I'm getting is that's the shift for you. That moves you in a new direction. There's also something you're going to take down somebody's name or number, and it's going to be about work, some kind of new work that you're going to be doing, which, by the way, is something online with the computer. So I don't know, are you looking for work or something else to do?
It's interesting. I'm kind of like on this, I need a break. From shifting everything right now. I have no, I needed, like, the last month has been self-care and just pouring in some love for my self-service. Yeah, so, I could feel it's shifting already. I would say by January, I'm going to start again. So I don't know what that includes. I'm writing notes.
Well, here's the deal.
I have another
book getting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, but here's the deal. What I was getting in the channeling this morning is that because I even had to stop myself. I was trying to push and get so much done that I felt I'm behind on, and they're like, you got to stop that, because we can't get these downloads and feel things out. And also our body is requiring more rest. This higher vibrational frequency, right? We're like living in a multitasking world and universe.
Yes.
So we are going to apparently need more rest and self-care. So you'll be doing that on and off, pulling yourself out.
Yes.
In fact, I do see a little trip or travel with you. I don't know where this place is. Burbank, B. It's not Bronx. Is there another B name around where you live?
I don't know. I'm in Connecticut. There's Bristol.
Maybe it's Bristol.
Okay.
Bristol. There's something, and it's definitely where there's. Okay, I don't know if it's the fall, because I'm seeing the leaves very bright, like orangey, yellow, green. And you're going somewhere out. There's like a train. Is there a train near you?
There's always a train station in Hartford.
Station. Okay.
Yeah, and that goes throughout. It goes through New York, and it goes through the other way to Massachusetts. So it goes all over the place.
You're going somewhere on the train, and someone's picking you up. You decide not to drive for some reason. It's a nice train. It's not like Sandwich Subway. It's something. You're going to be doing something. I don't know if you meet someone somewhere else or a friend, but you're going to be. You're on this, you drive a couple of times, then it's like, no, I'm just going to take the train so I can read or I can write, or I put my earphones on or earbuds and I'm writing. Do you do like manuscripts or something, or editing?
That's interesting you say. No, I mean, because I'm more of like it's very multifaceted what I write about now. Like, I think the next book is going to be more like what I've been going through, 22, 23 in a nutshell. It's all about alchemy. It's all about the light and the dark that I've been experiencing in it inside out.
But Alma, it's not your thing. I feel like you're writing for a website or a magazine, something online.
Oh, really?
Because there's a deadline to it. Yeah.
Interesting.
And there's something Anyway, you do have new revenue stream coming up, is what I'm being shown.
Okay.
And there is something that is you're back and forth. All I can see is you on that train. Someone picks you up. You're laughing. You have your laptop. You've got a coat on. It's kind of like you're bundled up. I can just see you in the car and driving. And it's also someplace that you're going to be driving that is along a waterfront. So I don't know if it's a lake or a beach.
Okay, that makes sense to me. We have a lot of those around here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I could go on, but I got to get to other people. So what's your question? Because I'm like, woo!
Yeah. So the question is, like, do you feel me meeting somebody in the next month or two, or
next year?
Relationship.
I don't know when. I'd have to. Yeah, that's part of this. I'm wondering if this person is out of the area but is on that train. Because you're back and forth, and it's like, oh, I have extra work. Oh, I'm going to do the work on the train. While I'm traveling. I brought my laptop so I can get this done. Whatever it is, I got to get this done, but I'm going to do it on the train. And then, I'll pick you up. So I don't know if you meet them at this thing that you go to, or you go to this thing and your energy shifts, and then you meet the person.
Okay. But it's all connected. It's all intertwined.
It's all connected. So when you go to that thing, then, and by the way, everybody, when you psychic, now, mind you, because sometimes I'm remote viewing and I can see exactly. I'm like, I see big windows and a mountain. I'm looking at the mountain. One time I was reading for a client of mine in Aspen, and I'm like, I see a white shirt and pink, like polka dots. I'm like, I don't know. I'm seeing white. Are you wearing? She goes, oh my God, that's my favorite sweatshirt. It's white with pink pink circles. And she goes, and I kept seeing all these. I don't know what they were, but she does balloon making or something with balloons and packet. I don't know anyway. But I was seeing the. But let me also say, if I'm seeing parts of what I'm there, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Like with the steps and where you're going. I almost feel like it's a neighborhood happening or something.
Okay. There's
or
a couple of things that are going on. Yeah, I'm actually going to retreat times. Like, I'm going to a lot of retreats with tea and journaling, and it's all intertwined. Yeah.
It's all intertwined. Yeah. Okay. All right, Amla, keep us posted then.
Thank you so much, and bless you, and Happy New Year to you if I don't talk to you beforehand.
Okay, you too. Big hug.
Happy New Year 24. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye. Hi, you're on air.
Hi,
Hello.
Thank you so much. This is Lisa from Connecticut also.
Oh, another Connecticut. Hello, Lisa. Welcome. What's your question?
What are my guides wanting me to push to do or not do, or future kind of thing?
Oh, I like that. Push to do or not do. Okay, let's see. Well, you're actually revving up for something is what I'm getting. Let's see, communication, intuition, psychic work, trusting your intuition. One of the things for you is also your routine is coming up as well as the body. Does that make sense to you? Taking care of your body?
Yes.
Health, wellness, fitness, that's the next thing for you. But you are going to be initiating something. So that could be a, new plan, diet, going to a chiropractor, herbs, I don't know. But there is something new that you are initiating with that. Now, I heard remember I don't know if it's literal. I'm hearing tell her to remember her dreams. That could be your dreams and your state, or it's literally your dreams. What do you really want to do? So I almost feel like you're energetically getting in shape or getting back in shape to open up to your dreams, something that you've been wanting to do. And there's 3 to 5 things, but 3 major things that you're going to be focusing on. And they're telling me she will know what to do. So to handle these things, one of them, body, routine, having that space to kind of tune in. I'm getting you're very intuitive, right?
I was, and then I had 7 surgeries in a year and a half, and my dog went into hospice care with me for
that's
years.
Why. Okay, so you're going back to that then. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to heal that from the body, and that's the mental body and the physical body. A little bit emotional too, but it's kind of taken a lot out of you in your physicality. So healing that and connecting back into your intuitive nature, that is going to help you move forward. That's part of your healing. That's part of your self-care.
Okay. I did just order. I had been wanting to go back to weightlifting, and I did just get my weights and my bar.
Perfect. There it is. The body. That's it. That's the perfect.
That made me giggle. It literally came today.
I love it. You're in alignment. All right, Lisa, big hug. You're so welcome.
Happy blessings for the new year. Thank you.
You too. Hi, you're on air.
Hi, Michelle, Valerie.
Valerie, how are you?
Hi. I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. What's your question, Valerie?
This is going to sound weird, but do you see these medical establishments getting rid of the hokey pokey? That's what I'm going to call it.
Oh, no. No. And there's going to be more. There will be more of the jibby-jabby, hokey-pokey.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we're in a 2-tier lane, and people really need to, it's good that you bring this up, to look at Aquarius. We have Pluto and Aquarius, coming in January. Aquarius is also cults. That it's there's a high level, like a low, mid, and high level of anything, right? Low level, low octave, mid, or you could call low, mid, high vibration. And also the medical field, procedures. So we are going to see a lot of advances I would say even helping people walk again through transmitters and, technology. And so you're going to see a lot of pharmacopoeia go up, and at the same time, you're going to see a lot of herbs, natural remedies, alternative means, and healthcare go up and happen. You're going to see one trying to strangle out the other, which we know which one it is. Right. But it won't, but there will be that tussle for a while until it kind of, flushes out, till it balances out.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's going to be a lot, because it's a big money maker. Things like that, elder care, things geriatric, longevity, stem cell, PRP, all these things using different light frequencies, sound frequencies, tone. There will be a commodified or more of a financially motivated route to that, and then one that is based more holistically and taking in the whole person. So there will be a lot of treating of symptoms, creating of things like what happened, in the panty. So yeah, it's here and others coming. Let's just say that.
Oh wow!
I think people's relationship to it or what's upcoming will change and is already changing as people trust their own body. That's why the body is so important in this part of the awakening, is to understand what works for you and what not only what are your beliefs but what's best for your body.
Well, do you think that's the block that's keeping me from getting these positions? Because I applied for a second one. I haven't heard back yet. Well, that can be if that's part of their requirement.
Mm-hmm. But you will, there's a little bit, things are going to open up more, and I think I even said with you more January on. We're in a little bit, even us going into a retrograde on the 13th. We're in a little bit of a holding pattern right now for things. So I would say things are going to pick up more mid-January on, where things that have been stuck or stagnant start moving.
So perhaps in January they be working?
Yeah, I just feel like there's I think I said that before with a delay. Yeah, there it is, a delay again. It's not like we're working again.
Yeah, but it's medical, so that's why I would.
Yeah, it's medical.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's going to be, for some people, that is going to be a consideration. So just know that's going to be a consideration, whether in an office and organizations. With some people, it's not, but some places it is a consideration. Okay. That's what I'm hearing.
I think the one I like to.
All right, Valerie, keep us posted.
Yeah.
Keep us posted.
I will.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, you're on air. We have time for two more. Let's see if our guest is
on
yet. Hi. Oh, who's this?
Hi, it's Void.
Say who
it is.
It's
Void.
Void. Hey, Void. Hello, Void. Hi.
Hi. So I did want a reading, but real quick, just want to validate your visions for everyone listening. I had pretty much the same vision before the panini. I saw the tanks and the National Guard and all that, and it's just, I got chills. It's so spooky to hear you say that you saw the same thing, because it just validates that it's real.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but as far as
some of us
reading...
not a lot of people got that. I think there was one other tarot reading, and of course I got it so early on. I told my clients, I told my team, and I said, this thing is coming. Because I can tell the difference between a Michelle dream and a vision. You can tell the difference.
Yeah.
And even the passport, everything, the shutdown.
Yeah.
I was like, and I was talking to my friend Paula on the phone all the time, going, I'm still here, and I'm like, And now it was weird. One day I'm talking to him. I'm walking down my street at night, and I'm like, oh, my God, I realized it was my future self, because here I am talking to you on the phone saying, I'm still here. I can't get out.
Yep.
Oh, boy. Oh, good to hear your voice.
Yeah,
so,
you too.
what's
I haven't
shaking?
been able to call in a while.
I know, you haven't been. I thought of you
but
the
I have
other
been
day
watching
in a
you on
card
YouTube.
with your music. I don't know what you've been drawing, but your music is needed.
Well, that was
like one of
all
the things the guy said. The messengers. That's what. Yeah, the guy. One of the guy. This morning's channeling. They said art and music. Art, music, sound, and words, all individually or all together, are really going to be highlighted. And if you think about it, to get information out or to shift the vibrational frequency, it's kind of like what we're talking about. It might be working in a background position, but it's your words or the tones that you're doing or just your consciousness. That was the other thing that I was saying. Remind people that it's not so much what we're doing, it's our consciousness that we're transmitting.
Absolutely.
So, anyway,
and that makes so much sense, too, with the throat chakra being about sound. Well, part of the throat chakra being about sound, and like I associate that with Aquarius, so that makes so much sense.
Yeah, and it's also after we do a lot of inner child work, which is that third chakra, the solar plexus, Hara center, our intuition, body wisdom, inner child, then we get into the higher level of our gifts and expressing them in the world, which activates that fifth chakra.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what should we... You have a little... yeah.
So it's my birthday month. My birthday's at the end of the month, and I've never asked you for a numerology reading before. So I was actually hoping if you could dip into that if you have time.
Oh, let me do a little dip.
Yeah.
Let me do a little dippy. Okay, just give me the month and day.
Okay, it's
12,
December
right?
24th. Yep.
Oh, big changes in new direction. So you're going to have a lot of inner change. There could be outer change, too. There could be a move or preparing for a move, or you realize where you live, you want to be someplace else or different places more aligned or better. But I feel like there's a lot of change going to be happening within that you have to express. So your spiritual aspect of your being is going to be very, very highlighted in, I would say, the next 6 to 9 months. You know, even out into you're really moving into an 18-month cycle.
Okay.
But whatever happens within you or your experiences, you're going to feel called to explain it through your art, through your craft. You're going to also be very observational of people, what's going on spiritually, whether within yourself, the people around you, or the world. It's interesting, we had this conversation before I tuned in to your frequency, is that I do feel that you are going to see one of the best ways to reach people is through the path of the artist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, remember, the healer is also part of the artist. When you look through history, they were all, kind of jumbled together. Even when you look at the time of, Blavatsky and the salon, that's why I have my metaphysics and spiritualism salon and Patreon, because the gathering, it was always the seers, the prophets, the occultists, the esotericists, and the artists. And a lot of artists were esotericists. Or work with tarot or healing energy, and a lot of because you're channeling, it's the same funnel. So somehow that's coming together for you this next cycle, this next year.
Okay. Wow. I feel a lot of
Yeah.
heart chakra stuff around that I feel like that's what I'm going to be dealing with. There's
Wow,
something in
that's
there I got
great.
to sift through. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the things they also said in the channeling was the heart. Like you would know, we would be getting our messages, but we would know what to do by the heart, by love, what we love doing, and the heart guiding us. Yeah. All right, Boyd, keep us posted as always. I love you.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Much love. Bye.
Much love. Okay, I think we've got time for one more. Let's see if our guest is... Hi, you're on air.
Hello?
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 Yeah, hello.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, what's your first name?
Oh, sorry, I was talking to someone else. Yeah, my first name is Sonia.
Tanya. Hello, Tanya. What's your question?
Yeah, hi, nice to meet you. I wanted to ask a question about, my current relationship with my partner of 8 years, fell apart. And she does still care about me. And she should be moving out, but, she keeps saying that she feels like she will come back. And it's very, very hard to leave me. But I just wanted to see what you're picking up about all this and if you see a reconnection in the future.
Oh, I feel a lot of heart energy and heartbreak energy, a lot of emotional. You're going into a deeper, deeper, deeper phase of healing. I know you've done a lot of introspection, inner work. It could include shadow work, which, by the way, psychologically, shadow work is not just what we term negative. It's also our gifts. You are going to be connecting to a part of you where your self-esteem, self-worth, self-value comes up. Your appreciation of yourself, your soul, and your gifts and what you bring. I feel this person back and forth or in and out. I don't know if that's how the relationship first started, but I feel like you're going to be journeying on your own for a bit. Now, will you keep in contact with this person? Yes, kind of back and forth. I see another person around them. I don't know if you're going to take them back, Tanya. I don't know because you're... Tonya?
Sonia with an S.
Sonia? Oh, Sonia. Okay, Sonia. I don't know if you're... Sonia, I don't know if you're going to take them back.
Okay.
When I look in your energetic patterning and what's coming in for you, I am seeing deep, deep healing.
Okay.
So they have a lot of inner work. They have a lot to do as well. I just feel like in a way, let's just put it this way, for your free will choice, it's going to be up to you, what you decide. So your higher self, your soul wants you diving in to the replenishing waters of you, your beauty, your gifts, you're connecting with other people. You're moving into a time where it is like a dark night of the soul, I'll be very honest, but you're going to rise and have your own breakthrough and glow up. You are going to really connect to yourself in a much different way. So you're not going to be the same person in 6 months. Okay?
Okay.
So it depends if that person can meet you there, but I feel for you because it's just you have such transformative energy coming through that it has to be done outside the arena of this relationship.
Right.
And you'll be able to decide. All right, Sonia, big hug to you, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Soul Light loves. Okay, if you did not get your question answered, I don't know if we're going to take calls with our guests. I'm not sure what we're doing. I find it interesting, though. Sonia, I hope you're still on air or on cue listening, because our guest, tarot lady, Theresa Reed, we're going to be talking about the cards you're dealt, how to deal when life gets real, but also dealing with grief, loss, change, and using the tarot. So we may have some insight for you. So Listen by phone, listen in the chat, or listen by computer. All right, let's get to Theresa Reed. Hello, Theresa.
Hi, it's so good to be here.
Oh, great to have you, tarot lady. Nice to have you here. Wow. I just feel like it's so interesting. When I read the title of your book and what we're talking about, I thought, I just paused and there was a space, but I'm really seeing that there's a need right now, a need for this conversation and a need for this support. Yeah. Oh, Theresa, since you're new to the community here and to me, I'd love to know a little bit about you, whatever you'd like to share, and then let's dive in.
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm really grateful that I get to talk with you today, so thank you for having me. I've been reading tarot and doing astrology for many, many moons, and I've written a ton of books about astrology and tarot, and my latest book is the one that you mentioned, The Cards You're Dealt, How to Deal When Life Gets Real, and it is a tarot guidebook to help people deal with the really hard things that we are all going to face at one time or another. I felt this book needed to happen because at my tarot table over the years when I used to read for the public, I think a lot of people have an assumption that people are coming just to ask about their love lives, and they do. But a lot of times people come with very, very heavy topics. And tarot, I have found, is a really amazing tool for helping people to sort out all these things that at some point or another we're going to have to deal with. Every one of us is going to deal with grief, loss, caregiving, illness. Some of us will get divorced or have heartbreak. And we have to have good tools to help us to move through that. And I think tarot is fabulous for it.
I love it. I love sometimes just even picking a card, why is this happening, or what am I going through, or what can I do? And letting that guide, let that be that doorway into our own, inner knowing and connecting to our higher self. Yeah, we've definitely had a lot of people in transition, and then our last caller, in that deep healing phase, which sometimes we can't really consciously or cognitively understand why something is happening. We just have to process it, right? It's such a subconscious, unconscious, it's such a feely thing. It's so much in the feelings of what we're going through, especially if it's something that we didn't plan on or count on. Kind of happens out of the blue. I feel we really do need to go, or what's helpful, to go to the mystical, the esoteric, the occult, or, the archetypal to explain our passage. Because sometimes it's hard to explain. You could do everything right, and then, this happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Life can do that, right?
Yeah, and tarot and the other mystical arts can absolutely help you make sense of it. Because, again, every one of us is going to deal at some point in our lives with something that is earth-shattering. And nobody gets spared from that. And one of the things that I find is really interesting, I've been on the planet now for a good number of years, but the times I look back, the times where I've had tremendous growth and insight and just been able to really find my way have always been when I've gone through something hard. It's never been when life is hunky-dory. When life is hunky-dory, I don't think too much about it. It's always when the chips are down. That is when I have to rise up. So true.
So true. And, it's not really baked in our society, in our conscious, to plan for these things. It's kind of like everything is skewed to, right? It's kind of like when stuff starts happening. That's one reason I love doing this podcast, is because you hear, or group work that I do a lot of group work, and people will have, oh my God, I'm going through that too, or I went, because sometimes it just seems like, am I the only one, or am I having the bad luck?
Yeah.
Right? We don't talk about it, and you don't get the manual in school, there's ups, life is ups and downs. You get, you're a success if you do this, you do that. It's all skewed to one side. So I also feel there's not a lot of tools to support when we have something, something traumatic or grief, something, throws our being off kilter.
Well, also, when we're talking about things like loss and grief, those are not happy topics. People don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
so oftentimes,
that's true. You're right.
It gets swept under the rug. I mean, people want to talk about, oh, this new fella I met, or, oh, my God, look at me, I've got an A on my report card. We don't like to talk about failures or the hard stuff because it's triggering. It dredges up a lot of things. And also when people, for example, are grieving, a lot of times we don't want to be around people when they're going through that because we don't know how to support them. And we have to find tools to support people, and we also have to learn how to be there for other people when they're going through things.
Yeah, good point. I almost feel like when there's loss or grief, it's almost like people think it's catching, like it's going to happen to me.
Yes.
Right? It's like,
yes.
Oh, I want to stay away from that. Yeah. I remember, Theresa, years ago I had, right? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I was agreeing with you, and I was just going to add, and oftentimes when people are going through grief, they don't want to bother anybody either, so then it compounds the problem.
Yes, that can very well be true. I think you'll love this as an astrologer. Years ago, I had Pluto going into my second house, and as an astrologer, I knew what that meant. So I was like, you know what? Anything that's extraneous, I'm going to just start getting rid of it, And I got rid of quite a lot of even designer things, and my friends that were around me were freaking out, like it was catching, and they were like, oh, I don't know what's wrong with Michele. What's going on? Why are you, and it's not anything that I loved. It was like, 5 of something, whatever, because I had a different, life then. And I tried to explain, and one friend that was an acquaintance friend, but we used to work out together, just couldn't. She told me, she goes, I just can't be around you right now and see you where you're at in your life. Now, mind you, I had savings in the bank. I didn't have to, but I knew Pluto, either you go with the Pluto flow or the Pluto flow goes over you, So I knew. And let me tell you, 2 years later, I guess she messaged me and said, oh, my God, I'm going through what you went through, and I have different values now. And she said, and I'm losing friends also. And I thought, that is so interesting.
Yeah.
And what happens, Theresa, when we go through these kinds of shifts, some people, I guess it upsets the narrative so much, and one person did tell me, like, oh, I believe whom I'm around, which to some degree is true, it influences us, but she's like, I can't, be around you because now why are you getting rid of it? Why aren't you wearing this anymore? Why aren't you doing this? Yeah, it was very interesting. People become very attached to like one iteration of who we are, and when we are going through something, a different side of us shows up, and some people just cannot cope with that. And that's why you'll often see too when someone's going through something, what do? We often use those platitudes. We say, well, everything happens for a reason. And I think that doesn't do anything except stop the conversation. And you're not giving this person an opportunity to talk about what's going on. I call that spiritual shaming, too. When you are saying things like that to people, you're not letting them, like, process these feelings. And we have to deal with our feelings. Feelings are healing. And when we're feeling a certain way, we have to explore that. What's going on there? What's beneath the surface here? What's coming to the surface? We certainly don't want to shove it into a closet, because that is how the shadow gets formed. The shadow, we talk a lot about shadow work and tarot and spiritual work, but it gets formed when we are made to feel ashamed for having these very human emotions. And so then we just shove it away, and it always ends up coming back at some point. Shadow just wants to be acknowledged and loved, and we need to be acknowledged and loved, and we especially need to be acknowledged and loved when we're going through hard things. Yeah. I love that, what you said, that term, spiritual shaming, because Even people getting sick, it's like all of a sudden, what are you doing, or your karma? Right away, it's like all of this comes into play, and it's like, oh. I always say that's the newbies. You can tell who's been around the block a couple times and of life and had some good teachers, because you know that we're more than that. But yeah, that spirit, that shame. It can. I talked about this at the top of the podcast, Theresa, to some degree, because there's a lot of that going on right now. With if you're not pro this or against this, or you're not posting this or reposting this meme, or you're not, there is a lot of shame going on as to essentially what people's role is in this whole awakening of what they're doing. It's like if I post these certain memes and I'm loud and noisy about certain events, then, I'm in the club. I'm in the cool kids club. But if you're not, just what you said, the spiritual shaming is going on.
Yeah, and I always say you got to mind your own timeline and mind your own activism.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I always say, too, a lot gets done behind the scenes, where and how we spend our time, our energy, our money, and how much we put into the old game or the old system. I mean, if you're creating something else. But, of course, there are those that are meant to bring awareness and march and shake and do whatever, but that's not where the change, happens. What do you think for the spiritual, what's your kind of gut intuition, insight on that, and as a awareness of it and a remedy? Do you think that is something that will get remedied, or is there maybe a approach or anything we can contemplate around that?
I think these kinds of situations are eternal. We've had always a lot of challenging things happening in the world since humans could first, light a fire. And that's because humans are humans, and being a human is hard. And I think, because of the internet, we are becoming more aware of what's going on around the world. And I think what we are seeing is a lot of people starting to think more critically about things. But again, we have so many things that have just been ongoing since the beginning of time, and I don't think there's easy answers. But I do think people are trying to develop compassion, and there are folks out there. One of my heroes is Chef Jose Andres, who is always out there feeding people. Always out feeding people. If there's something going on in the world, he's right there setting up a station. And that inspires me to feel compassion and to feel hope. So we've got to look for those people, or like Mr. Rogers says, in hard times, we've got to look. I'm not paraphrasing this properly. His mother told him, when things are hard, look for the helpers. And we can look for those and get inspired. And thankfully, because of things like social media, yes, we see a lot of horrible things, but we also see the helpers, the people who are out there doing good. And there's many, many people doing good. Many, many people. That doesn't mean we gloss over the hard things that are happening. We do have to talk about that and face that and come together and take care of each other. But we've got a long ways to go.
Yeah, and I like that, because characteristically where we want to help is in our gifts. We get to use our gifts. I think when people look around, and that's true engagement, if I really love doing this, I feel fulfilled and this is my gift. Even if the gift is simply just helping out, I think that can give a lot of meaning, and purpose as to how we, show up, and contribute.
Yeah. Yeah. And what you said, also, really struck me, that some people are going to be out there, marching and fighting the good fight, and other people are doing things behind the scenes. I think, we have to think about our gifts, like you said. I agree with that. But also we have to think about what suits us, because everybody's got a role to play. Everybody has a role to play in this thing called life. And we are all here to live on this planet together to make the world a better place. So you've got to figure out, what does that mean for you? For some people, it might be that you have the means to donate a lot of money. Other people might find that they're really good at coming into their community and making sure that folks who are marginalized or oppressed are getting help, getting access to health care and water. There might be other people who are on the front lines demanding change. Some people might go into politics. Some people might go into a spiritual life and inspire people. There's teachers. I mean, we've all got a role to play. And every once in a while, Michele, I hear someone say, well, there's nothing I can do. I don't have money. I don't have, access. I don't have the ability. I'm like, but you can call your representatives. You can sign petitions.
Yeah.
You can do that. You can call and bug them. If you don't like the way something's going on in the world, be a pest.
Even people doing their own healing and the shadow and in consciousness. I have quite a few clients and students, and I didn't know this movement was going on, because it's funny, I had a conversation with someone on air at one point that said, oh, no, you have to be on boots on the ground and marching and this and that. And I said, well, come to find out, I knew just through these groups that I was facilitating that there was this whole movement. What was it? One of it is Fathers for Homeschooling. These fathers that were, yes, and then these charter schools, because they saw what was really going on in the educational system. These parents started getting together in different and then they started communicating, because they were all, I don't know if they're any international, but for sure in the United States, where they started having these schools, and it came out of the homeschooling and then wanting a socialization aspect to it to start these schools. And I thought, wow, such a movement in education where they were seeing what was, really needed, what the children weren't getting, or, just making it better. And they really kind of came together and said, well, this is our thing. And you can find it Googling and whatever. There's obviously podcasts and things about it now, but it's not broadly known. And I thought, wow, that is very inspiring, that they just went, you know what, we really see what's going on now and where the cracks are. We're going to fill those cracks. And I got to tell you, with the Fathers for the Homeschooling, it just, one interview I watched, I just started crying. It was just this group of fathers talking about their children and education and what they were doing. And I thought, oh my God, it is so beautiful. It is happening. This coming together and, creating new systems that are, transforming Pluto and Capricorn, transforming that, energy into something that is, frankly, more relevant, not just life enhancing, but more relevant to who we are and where we are now. And not to mention astrology and tarot taking off,
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, it has, I remember back when I started doing tarot and astrology, and we're talking over 40 years ago, and, of course, I was like, quote-unquote, a weirdo, and people would, oh, my God, that's so scary, that's weird, that's freaky.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see the resurgence of it, and a lot of this really during the pandemic. Suddenly, there were tarot readers coming out of the woodwork, and I'm like, where were these people before? And, I mean, the Internet has made it more accessible. So over the last, I would probably say the last decade or so, it's become a lot more accessible for people. It was much harder back in the day to get your hands on this information. And suddenly it's all over the Internet. You can get books and decks from here and there and everywhere. And then during the pandemic, there's all these new tarot readers and astrologers that came out of the woodwork. I'm like, wow. It looks like it's no longer in the, shadows. It's like it's in, it's out. I mean, even you see the fashion designers using tarot. I think Dior used tarot as inspiration for outfits a couple of years ago. So this stuff is definitely big right now.
No, it's definitely
big.
I know when I had a modeling and acting career, and my agent used to say, don't tell anybody you're psychic. Of course I did, and everybody had stories, right? Like, I know when my mom's calling or my grandma on the other side came to me. Yep. But when I would travel around, especially in the South, I stayed sometimes in what they call models' apartments, and I had my deck, I had my altar, I had all my stuff I carried with me when traveling, and I would get in these debates, which back in the day I knew scripture and I'd studied different religions, so I had the receipts. Now I don't know, it's all out of my head, but people would go, Michelle's really nice, but she's into tarot, or I don't know if she's of the devil, or I'd had a couple models going, I was a little afraid of you, but you're really nice. You're really very positive. And I was like, oh my God, these people. But now they're the same ones, wearing the T-shirt. They've got their own, doing the decks on TikTok. And it's become much more accessible. And I'm wondering if you found this too, Theresa, in your kind of experience of late. I would say around somewhere between 2010, maybe 2011, 2012 to about 2017, I saw things got very surface. It was like, I took a weekend course and now I'm, here's my, teaching or whatever, consulting, whether hypnotherapy, astrology, that whole idea of studying with teachers and apprenticing and doing your own inner work was gone. I mean, I can't even tell you by the people I talk to, whether, on the podcast or in groups. Something shifted where now I see, and maybe you know this from your experience or maybe as an astrologer or through tarot, I don't know, but I'm curious to get your take on it. Something shifted where people want to go deep. They want the better information. They want to know the lineage. They want to study. They want to work on themselves now. I don't know how. I can tell you when, because I, encountered it, especially on my podcast. But there seems to be a not just zeal now, but dedication to one's path and knowing oneself and healing and inner work and the shadow. Look at there's somatic, psychology with the body now. There's all these different modalities coming out. I don't know. What's your take on that or your thoughts?
Well, back in the era that you're talking about, there was a huge surge in online businesses, and there were a lot of people then who launched these courses that you can become, a business coach in 6 weeks and make six figures, or you can be a tarot reader after the 6-week course. And so I think a lot of people started to monetize their hobbies and got into it for the wrong reasons without doing the inner work. And as you know, if you are going to do tarot and astrology professionally, you've got to work on yourself. You've got to be the living example that your stuff works. Yeah. And a lot of these people are coming in with the wrong motive. And I just remember seeing some of these people, and they really became very fly-by-night, that maybe even some of them put on a big show for a bit, and then they disappeared because, first of all, they discovered this is actually hard work. Tarot is hard work. It's not easy money. If you think it's easy money, you're going in the wrong industry. But the other thing is people that were coming to these folks were getting harmed by their work because they didn't have the depth. They didn't have their own inner work done. They didn't have the experience. You can't just do 6 weeks and, take a course and ta-da, now you're a professional. You have got to practice. It's an art. You need to continuously hone your craft. I'm all still taking classes and reading books, and I've been doing this over 40 years. So one of the things I think is that there was really kind of the backlash to that. I also think people had more time on their hands during the pandemic, so they really started to study and get into it. And there was more of a demand for that. Now, that being said, I still see a lot of folks jumping on this stuff before they are ready. And they're more concerned with their branding than they are with honing their craft, and they're doing damage. They're out there harming people because you haven't done your work, and you haven't done the work to understand all the intricate stuff that is involved in tarot reading, intuitive work, and astrology. Astrology is a big topic. A 6-week course isn't enough for you to become a professional astrologer.
No, I'm still studying it. I still learn from it.
Yeah.
Not just my own chart, but a new something, a new way to look at an aspect, a new configuration, I am in some ways I'm back at the beginning in some levels, in some ways.
Yep. But people don't like going to the beginning. They want to be the expert before they're ready. And I got to tell you, Michele, I've had people get angry at me when I say you need to keep getting the education if you're going to do this, because they think I'm in some way saying that they can't do it. And I'm like, no, it's not that you can't do it. It's not that you can't learn things quickly. But the experience is important, because oftentimes in these 6-week courses, they don't teach you the things like, what do you do if somebody gets really angry at you during a reading? What do you do if a topic comes up that's very taboo? What if you trigger somebody? What if you have to talk someone off the wall? These are things you need to learn by study and experience and hopefully working with good teachers that can help you.
Yeah,
I
agree, and I'm so glad you're saying that, because you have to know how to talk to people, study with someone, or a course or class or school or something. And then the apprentice thing. I always say I'm only where I am because of my teachers. I remember one of my first teachers when I'm learning all this, and I was with my, with tarot, and I said, my gift, and she looked at me and she said, work on yourself, work on your ego. And I was like, oh, ooh, she didn't say you're ready to save the world. She said, focus on you. Work on yourself. Work on your ego. But, I love what you're saying. Yeah. And it gets fun to me, because it's like I'm never in this place where I know it all. And so I really don't have the pressure of what I say or what I do, other than my own integrity and connection to my, higher self and soul, and, doing the best I can, but I'm not claiming to know something. I watched something the other day, and I have to share this with you, and I just cringed, and I wanted to reach out to this person, and I'm like, okay, they'll learn. But it was a general reading on YouTube, and the person started going into health, and
oh God,
it was scary. I had to go cancel in my head. I was like, oh my God, I've never, on something general, you don't know who's there, you don't know what's going on, people are very open, and it came up in one of the workshops, and I said, you just do not, there's ways to say it, I go, you got to learn, I go, but I would never do that in a general reading, focus on your diet, nutrition, your health, or if you feel like seeing your dog. Yeah, there's ways to put something out there, but to say something could be wrong, I'm picking up something, I thought, oh my God. It's exactly what you're saying, Theresa. It's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, we have to learn how to be responsible and not cause harm. And also, some people try to take the role of professionals that they are not supposed to take. Tarot, astrology, psychic work, it's not a substitute for therapy. It's not a substitute for a lawyer or a business advisor. It's also, you cannot diagnose or prescribe. You're not a doctor.
Right.
You can't do that. And you should never, ever take the role. But also, there is some part of the public that also has to take responsibility. And I've had people over the years, I remember people would say, I want you to tell me the day I'm going to die. And I'm like, why would you want to know that? First of all. Second of all, I can't see that. I'm not God. People would ask things like that. So the public also has to remember to be responsible too. When you are going into a reading with a astrologer or whatever, you can't expect them to know all of those details. And there's certain things that you shouldn't be pushing them to do things that cross ethical lines.
Yeah, I always say that's the part, the sex of your baby. Sometimes you can get that, but usually I always say to people that in death, God will laugh at you, because it's the one thing that says you're not all that. You're not. This cannot be right. This cannot be predicted. This is not. Oh my gosh. Now, Theresa, tell me a little bit about how people can connect with you. I love your energy, too, by the way. I'm so glad we connected.
I am, too. I've been enjoying this.
Yeah, me as well. So you're at the Tarot Lady. Wait, is it tarotlady.com?
Yeah, my website is thetarotlady.com, and I'm on social media. Usually my handle is the Tarot Lady. On TikTok, somebody actually grabbed that handle, so on TikTok I had to go with the Tarot Lady Official, but I'm generally the Tarot Lady on social media.
Okay, great. And the book, let's talk a little bit about how do you envision people using the book, by the way?
There's two different ways to use it. First of all, if you're somebody who's going through something, this book is going to show you how tarot can be an ally and a guide to navigate these tough times. But also, there's a lot of advice in there for professional readers, so they can deliver readings on topics like grief, loss, loss of a child,
that's great.
World events. Yeah, so they can learn how to deliver readings on these topics that are going to help and not harm. So it could be for the professional or for anybody who really is looking to use tarot in an introspective way to heal.
I love that. Yeah, I think resource books are great. You know, books that have these ideas or guidance to, help us are phenomenal. It really, especially if it's from somebody that has some experience, not just the training, but the experience, because even if you take, and you probably know this, I was amazed at the beginning, even if you take courses or even study, even my counselor training and hypnotherapy, it looked very, very different. And even me talking to my professor and like, oh my God, it's, it lives, and he used to say it lives differently, than what you study. When you're right in front of someone, something's happening, and it's like, sometimes what you learn, and this is interesting, because sometimes what you learned in a book, you need, if it's not attached to some kind of experience, it's sometimes not as valuable. Or from a conversation like this, or someone like, that's why I love apprenticing, I think, because right, you get that person's experience, which you sound like you have a lot, and I love, because I feel like you've really thought a lot. You've contemplated, like you didn't just do like a spiritual bypass. You've you've done the work. You've thought the thoughts.
And I'm still doing the work, and a lot of the things I've learned over the years have been through making mistakes in my work and coming back and saying, oh, okay, this would be a better way of doing this. This is more healthy. This is more healing. This is going to be what's going to help people. And that only comes, again, when you're out in the tarot trenches, as long as I was. I read for the public for over 30 years, and I retired from doing readings a couple of years ago to focus on writing. But I was a high volume reader. I did a lot of readings, and oftentimes on very, very gnarly topics, which I tend to be really good at working with those topics. And I learned a lot along the ways, and I'm hoping to impart my wisdom before I go into full retirement. I do a lot of teaching now. I teach over on Patreon, and I've got a couple more years, and then I'm going to retire. So I am like telling people, look, I'm trying to get these books out there and give you the information, because hopefully we can put some good tarot readers out there, and to the readers who are already out there, give them this information and guidance so they can continue to do their good work out there.
Yeah, because sometimes, it is, people, like you said earlier, may come for one reason. They could really be going through something, and you have that chance to really help, to impart some insight or, wisdom, using the tarot as a vehicle. So, and with so much of what's going on in the world, I think a lot of people are turning to readers, and they want to know more. Like you said earlier, they want to process the shadow, the inner work, go deeper. And we're, on whatever level you're at, or you perceive yourself, we're always looking for some guidance or insight or someone to bounce ideas off of or help. So I think that your book is a, phenomenal and fantastic idea for people to have because these things are going to come up, in people's,
you bet. And they're going to come up a lot.
Yeah.
They're going to come up a lot.
Especially now. More.
And that, I think, is, yes, oh my God, yes, you're right.
Right.
And I got to tell you something, when I went, there's a difference between reading for your friends and yourself and reading for the public. When you read for the public, I mean, we see the stereotypes like, oh, we're all going to be talking about the tall, dark stranger. That is not the truth. The reality is, again, people come with some heavy stuff because sometimes the tarot table is the only safe place to talk about these things.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. Oh, Theresa, it's so true. Because there is some level of non-judgment. There is a purity there when you connect in for that type of session. There's really, that's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, I think tarot readers and astrologers, we're a lot like journalists. I mean, journalists are out there dealing with some really heavy stuff, and a lot of journalists become a lot more compassionate after doing the work for a long time. I've heard many of them say that over the years. And it's the same with people who do the work we do. When you're out there dealing with that heavy stuff, your heart opens up. You bleed with the people that are sitting at your table, and I mean, it's really an intimate experience, and it's very profound for not just the person getting the reading, but the person getting the reading. It's an honor to witness somebody as they're going through something.
Yes. Oh, that's so true. It is such an honor. Yeah, such an honor and such a sacred thing to be able to see that. And that
someone
that
is trusting you with their most intimate things. They're opening up to you. They're getting vulnerable with you. I mean, that's somebody who's giving you a gift. And so you want to treat that gift really well, like the special thing that it is. And that's why I treat the work that I do with reverence. Don't get me wrong, I've got a wicked sense of humor, but I treat the work really seriously and with a lot of reverence because, again, it is an honor to do this work. I don't look at it like, oh, my God, I got to go to work. I'm like, oh, I get to do this work.
Yeah. And I love, too, that the title is The Cards You're Dealt, because very, very much that is our life. It's not even sometimes, oh, you did this, you did that, or you didn't know, or you. It's like, no, you are dealt certain cards, and now how do you deal? How do you cope? How do you manage what you're going through? Who thought of that title, by the way? That's a great title for the day.
My son gets full. So I've got a very clever Aquarius son. And when I was putting the book together, the concept, I said, I got to come up with a title. My other books, I've had the titles I've come up with myself. But for that one, he sits and he goes, well, let me think about it, because he's so smart. He's Aquarius, Moon, and Gemini, Libra rising. I mean, air.
Oh, wow.
And he comes back like 10 minutes later and says, why didn't you call it The Cards You're Dealt? I'm like, oh, my God, that's brilliant. And then the subtitle I came up with, because my wonderful publisher, Weiser, says, we got to have a subtitle for this. And I'm playing around with it. I said, well, how to deal when life gets real. And so between him and I, we came up with a pretty clever title. Yeah, well, that's all. He gets the big credit, though, for the title. I mean, he's got a gift with that. We always laugh. His name is Nick. And he says, I want to start a business where I name things. I'm going to call it nicknames. And I said, oh, my God, that's brilliant.
Oh, my God.
You should.
Oh, he's going to have another glow up with the upcoming aspects. Oh,
yes.
Gosh. Yeah,
yes,
wow.
And he's 0 degree Aquarius. So on January 20th, when the sun goes into Aquarius and Pluto goes into Aquarius the same day, that is like, I told him, I said, this is going to be This is going to be a profound time for you. And he's got that moon in Gemini, so we got that Jupiter in Gemini next year. It's going to be a big year for him.
I know, right?
Big year.
Wow.
I'm excited.
Boy. Yeah, that is great. And boy, for him to come up with that and nicknames, I don't know, feels good.
He's very clever. He's really funny, very witty. Always makes me laugh.
Well,
so
Moon in Gemini,
it's a joy to have him in my orbit.
I bet. And I'm sure very inspirational. Well. But yeah, that's it. When life gets real, what a perfect timing too, Theresa. A perfect book for the perfect timing right now.
Thank you, Michele. Thank you.
Well, we're winding out of time. Let's just kind of wrap up here where people can connect with you. We've talked about it already, but those were just kind of joining. We got a few people come in. Of course, your book, The Cards You're Dealt, When Life Gets Real. Amazon is the best, probably, online. Is it still?
People can get books anywhere books are sold, online and off. I always tell people, whatever's going to be easiest for you. Some people find it's easier to just go through, Amazon. But you can also call your local shops and let them know that you'd like to have the book in stock. And you can also tell your library to get the books in stock, because libraries will carry metaphysical books. And some of my local libraries do have my books in stock. And so for folks who maybe, it's not in your budget, call your local library. They will get the book in.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good thing. Cards Are Dealt. I'm putting it in the chat. All right. And at the Tarot Lady, Insta, Facebook, and TikTok, a variation of that. I forgot what it was. What is it?
The Tarot Lady Official. Somebody grab that, the Tarot Lady. But mostly everywhere that you go, you're going to find the Tarot Lady is me. By the way, there are imposters out there. It's not me if it doesn't go back to the website. It's not me. And if somebody ever hits you up in your direct messages saying they want to do a reading for you, that's definitely not me. I stopped reading for the public almost 4 years ago. Just got to warn people about those.
I know.
Scammers.
It's interesting. I just had somebody do that in on Instagram, and I've had it like 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, it almost fooled one of my acquaintance friends. Thought, I was thinking of getting a reading with you.
Yep.
And then you popped in, and I'm like, but I don't do that.
Yep. No legit psychic or tarot reader or astrologer does that.
No, not at all. So, yeah. Well, anyway, all the ways to get in touch with you also are in the description box of this episode, so people can look there too. Theresa, come back anytime. I have enjoyed our conversation and learned quite a bit, so thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Michele. It was a pleasure, and I'll hope to talk to you soon. Thank you.
Yeah, me too. Bye. All right, Radiant Soul Light. If a little recap, Theresa Reed at Tarot Lady or the Tarot Lady. The book was The Cards You're Dealt, When Life Gets Real. I love that title, The Cards You're Dealt. So true about life, right? All right, Soul Lights. If you did not get a reading from me, I will be here next Wednesday. You can call earlier. We had a lot of people in the queue. So see if you can call in a little earlier, be on in the queue, or you can reference me in the chat. Also, connect with me on Instagram, Patreon, YouTube, and I hope to see you here next week. I hope if you're new, I hope you'll come back. And those of you that always come back, I love you. It's so great to have you in my sphere here. All right, lots of love and light. Keep shining bright.
Awakenings broadcast every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Time. Archive shows available on iTunes. For continued awakened conversations and insights, join the Awakenings group on Facebook. And check out Michele's blog at soulplayground.com. And keep awake.
Holiday season is here, so don't miss out on any festivities. Plan ahead and get the symptom relief you need by stocking up with Mucinex, the #1 brand doctors trust for cough and cold. With Mucinex, it's not cold and flu season, it's comeback season. Use as directed.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.